What if I told you that just by adding 4 emails into your email flows, you can increase your cart recovery rate by up to 57%? This is not some complicated 20 email funnel, nor is this something that is just a fluke, because this has been tested with over 20 plus clients and it works every single time. Now, if you only have 1 or 2 emails instead of your abandoned checkout flow and someone told you that that's fine, you've just been lied to. So, a quick intro about myself. My name is Luca. I run Cobalt Club, a 7 and 8 figure e-commerce retention agency, and I'm pretty much the guy that doesn't really talk that much about the theory side of things, but more so on the practical slash what actually works stuff. So, with that being said, let me just dive right into the things that are going to make you more money as long as you implement them and you don't just finish this video by saying, that sounds nice, and never get to it. So essentially, what's the promise here, right? We want 4 simple emails, and let's just break them down one by one, right? So number one is the classic forgot something. So usually the timing should be 15 to 45 minutes post event. On this side, you basically have 2 groups of people. You have group number one, which says, I don't want to send an email that fast after someone abandoned their checkout. And then you have the second group, which says, let me just make more money. I really hope that you're in group number two, because this is exactly what it's going to do. We've tested this. 15 to 45 minutes is great because it actually is striking while the iron is hot. And you're not just letting it fizz out, because if you send it after 6, 8, or even one day after, it's not going to convert that well. And that is just fact. So the purpose of it is remind them, not discount. Okay? Because a lot of people do tend to give the discount out in the first abandoned checkout email. That's just not going to work. It's going to eat into your margins. And essentially, you could be saving money by sending something like this at a critical time. So, the psychology behind this, usually just a reminder would work fine. But if you want to be a bit more extra, push some low stock or urgency. Right. Real example. Did your Wi-Fi break? This is a great subject line, and let me show you some results. So this is one email. You can even steal the subject line if you take a look at it. That preview text is just a little hack that I use to make it not show anything. And this is one email example. Let me just zoom into it. I'm just going to scroll down. You can analyze the copy and then you can kind of get an idea. Email 2, the value bomb, right? So this one here, 24 hours later, a lot of people, again, they do 2 things. It seems there's always 2 groups when it comes to this email marketing side. So number one is essentially they do 6 to 8 hours after the first email. I think that's fine if you're doing big sale periods like Black Friday and you want to stand out, but usually it's just annoying. And then you have the second one, which usually say, let me just delay it to the next day and send it at 10 a.m. You don't want to do that. You essentially want this email to be sent out at around the same time when someone was active on site and performed the first action. It simply makes sense. Imagine that they spent their whole day at work, maybe they have the weirdest shift, and they can only browse at 3 a.m. That's when you want the first, the second, the third, and the fourth email to hit. So we want to deliver some value and address the number one objection. What happens is if they've reached the abandoned checkout stage, their main objection is usually price, because they've either been hit by the big picture of, oh, this is money that's coming out of my wallet, or you just shown them what the total price is with the added shipping. Essentially, both of these, they scare them. So just give them a discount. On here, you can test discount tiers, 5, 10, 15, 20% off, whatever your margins allow, but do not give them the best offer just yet. This is an example of how this email should look. Now, you got email number 3. Usually 24 hours after email number two. Get in their head with urgency, and the golden rule is one purpose per email. Now, if you think your abandoned checkout email should have a lot of links to all of your other products because you're just so proud of what you've built, you're completely wrong. The customer decides what they want, and it's your job to make them buy it. So just relax with how many products you're suggesting. Essentially, just keep the CTA and the main purpose of this email to one specific thing, which is what they left in their cart. Now, you can try and snake your way around all the persuasive methods to make them buy, but essentially, all you want to do, just remind them of the discount. They probably missed it or didn't have time to use it. This is how this email would look. Possibly add your USPs at the bottom. Then you have email number 4, 24 hours after email number 3, as always. The format for this is plain text, and what you can do here is you can just ask about their objection, or you can preemptively disarm it. So let me just zoom in as an example. Right, my name is X, founder of Y. Noticed you were looking at our collection and wanted to reach out personally about your interest in us. We don't do discounts often, but I've extended your code. Now, with this, you can go one of two ways. Number one, either keep the code at the same level as it was before, assuming that you've already maxed out your margin. Number two, you can level up that code to a 15% off. This is our preferred strategy, and it works really well. A good subject line for this as well would be something like, hey, you just leveled up. Your discount just got upgraded. Something of this nature is going to make them convert. So I started this brand because I believed X should be both Y and Z, because I believed X product should fix, X product should fix problem number 1, problem number 2, right? Something along these lines. And then it's the reason we've grown to X customers worldwide. This is clearly social proof. And then CT at the bottom. If you don't exactly have the objection in mind, if you're still at the early stage, you can try and ask about it at the end. If you're already deep down the rabbit hole, you got hundreds of thousands of customers and you know exactly what scares them off, just try and use this block to preemptively disarm it. So with that being said, if you guys got any questions, just let me know, drop a comment. I'm here to reply to it. And if you want a 100 editable email template pack, which we've done at our agency, and trust me, these are not your average designs from the guy next door. These are actually very, very good emails that cost money. And this is probably worth over $1,000. Technically over 2,500, 3,000, but it's all yours for free. Just drop a comment here saying you want it, or just drop me a DM on IG, which is going to be linked in my bio. With that, I hope you enjoy this video. Click sub, and next week we're going to talk about segmentation. Keen to show you what it's all about, why people overcomplicate it, and how you can actually use it to your advantage to make more money with your e-com store. So that was me, and see you next week.